Attention parents and coaches. Do you wish you had a safe social media platform for your youth athletes? Fortunately for you, there's a revolutionary new app that helps with just that. Introducing Small Player, Big Play. Small Player, Big Play app provides young athletes, parents, and coaches a user-friendly sports social media platform. The app allows users to connect with friends, make new friends, create groups, text, chat, and post pictures and videos of you and your teammates participating in your favorite sport or activity. To begin, users can simply download and sign up for the app using an email account. Younger users have the ability to sign up using their smartphone and a parent's email address. From there, users can begin to interact and engage with other users of the app. Small Player Big Play app also gives users the ability to live stream full games and events. You can live stream your event so that friends, family, or anyone in the world can see you in action. Users can also share posts from the app to their other social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. What are you waiting for? Get in the game and share your love of sports with the world. Download the Small Player Big Play app today.
You're listening to the Bulldog Hour, getting you inside the Wilson football program with weekly game previews, recaps, highlights, and interviews. Now, here are your hosts, Joe Mays and Justin Raffauf.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bulldog Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mays, and sitting across from me is Mr. Justin Raffauf.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I know last week we were hoping that we would be able to have a Bulldog Hour this week, so I'm glad everything worked out that that's the case.
Yeah, and you're a bit in the dark. I should have turned on a little bit more light, but you are there across from me, and we're ready to talk about the 2020 Wilson football season, which is right around the corner. Finally, here we are,
Yeah.
3 weeks later. We knew it was delayed, but things are moving in the right direction now.
I saw Drago tweeted out earlier, I feel like I'm 3 weeks behind. Like, because he is. Yeah.
I got it. Good one. I like it. It's great. So we did have our last show 3 weeks ago, episode 4 of our 6th season, and we had live interviews with Wilson's head athletic trainer, Kieran Melagrana, and head coach, Doug Doms, and just kind of talked about the situation surrounding the coronavirus pandemic and COVID-19, talked about the health and safety protocol, and we talked a little bit about the pending season. Of course, at that time, we didn't even know if there necessarily was going to be a season.
That was before the PIAA meeting,
right,
correct?
The PIAA had, it was just 3 days before that the governor's office had said that they recommended canceling everything until the new year, and the PIAA had delayed everything by 2 weeks. The LL League and Berks Leagues had done the same thing, delaying actually an additional week, with football heat acclimatization starting tomorrow. So what better way to kick off the actual start of football season than talking with 6 of our senior players, and that is the point of tonight's episode. So we are going to do that momentarily. We just have a quick few things we want to roll through like we do every show, and that is all about our housekeeping stuff. We just want to really mention our sponsors. It's very important to us that we highlight their contributions to the show, and that would be May's Sandwich Shop and Small Player Big Play, the app for youth athletics, and Safe Social Media. They are a sponsor of the show, and they are the advertisement you heard from us at the top of the show. So we appreciate their continued support and sponsorship, as well as our anonymous donors and a couple people that have always helped us out. We appreciate them too. Now, there's also other ways you can help us besides sponsorship, advertising, and donations. Visit the website and spread the word, like, and share. Now, we will be having another show again. It will be in 2 weeks' time. We will not have a show Labor Day weekend. We will be back 2 weeks later, and it'll actually be the Sunday after the scrimmage. So it'll be Sunday, September 13th. And I'm hoping that maybe we'll have some interviews with the assistant coaches, and we will talk about the scrimmage. And the scrimmage is taking place on Friday, September 11th against Cocalico, which is an addition and a change to the schedule since the last time
Correct.
we were on the show.
When the LL League made their adjustments, they kind of took over that the scheduling of the scrimmages as well, correct?
Yeah, they were kind of like, hey, let's keep this all in-house in league.
Right.
Let's do it this way. So that was one of the significant things, changes that happened with the schedule. The first match this year will be against Cocalico on Friday, September 11th. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock. But again, no one's allowed in, so when it starts is not necessarily of that much interest to everyone other than the people playing. Then the schedule is finally set. It's ready to roll. Again, when we talked 3 weeks ago, we did not know all the information that we know now. Mifflin was brought back on the schedule. It was supposed to be September 4th. It is now September 18th. Wilson is hosting. And then the next week, the 25th, was supposed to be at Manheim Central. It is now at Manheim Township, as the LL League flip-flopped the final game of the season with the crossover week, just to ensure that teams got to play, or hopefully play, all their section games before playoffs get started. And playoffs start that last week of what would have been the regular season,
right.
October 30th, right before Halloween.
So if you make the playoffs, you drop that last game, which now would be a crossover game.
Correct.
And therefore, I guess technically not as significant or meaningful to the league play.
No.
And then you would move into your district game instead.
Right. So
interesting to say though, because now, in some cases both teams might make the playoffs, but in other cases maybe only one of the teams makes the playoffs, and then you have someone left out. But.
Right. But I think it definitely worked in Wilson's favor, getting Mifflin on the schedule, playing the 5 section games.
Makes sense.
And then playing, honestly, I guess we don't want to play Manheim Central because we want to be in the playoffs.
Right.
We don't want to be playing the Barons this year,
right,
the way it works out, because we want to be one of the 4 teams making the 6A field in District 3. So that's the schedule. That's where we're at right now. Obviously, things can change. Wilson can hopefully avoid issues themselves, but that doesn't mean anyone else will be issue-free.
Right.
So we will roll with that. My dad says he thinks you belong in the dark, so this suits well. I know you can't see.
Well, he was drafting in the fantasy draft last night like he was in the dark, so that's fine.
All right.
I can imagine the emojis that are going to come through with that one.
All right, so I think that's it. That's all the house cleaning. So I want to make sure that we bring in our senior players that are here with us. Just let me pull them up and get them active, and we'll be able to say hello to our senior players. All right, they are with us. So guys, go ahead and unmute, and we'll get you introduced here. All right, awesome. So hopefully everyone can still hear me, both the interviewees and the people listening out there on the social media pages. And let's get some introductions here and hear the 6 players with us this evening. And let's start with, we'll just go in order, guys. Just jump in there, introduce yourself, let me know your name and the positions you'll be playing on the team this year. Jabari, why don't you get us started?
Hi, my name is Jabari Diaby. I play wide receiver on offense and DB defense.
All right, Matt.
My name's Matthew Schrufer. I'll be playing right tackle on offense and defensive end.
All right, Chase.
My name's Chase Walters. I'll be playing left tackle and a defensive tackle.
All right, Adrian.
My name is Adrian Santana. I'll be playing tight end on offense and middle linebacker on defense.
All right, and Jack. Jack, you up? Maybe not. Kaleb?
Hi, my name is Kaleb Brown. On offense, I play quarterback, and on defense, I play free safety.
All right, I think Jack may or may not be frozen, but Jack Wagner is with us as well. Okay, there he is.
Sorry, cut out. I'm Jack Wagner. I'm a kicker and punter.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, I'll say it because I didn't say it in my intro. Obviously, we're doing all these via remote, And, we have some issues with audio and video from time to time. So just bear with us as we get these guys interviewed here for you. And hopefully we can answer a lot of questions that the listeners have for you all. So we're going to start out with just some introductory questions here. Just let us know how your abbreviated summer workouts were and what it was like to operate with the health and safety measures that the school had to put in place for you guys to get back out on the field. So anyone can jump in, just answer, just let us know how the summer went.
You're breaking up a little bit.
All right. Can you tell us how the summer workouts went?
Summer workouts, for the most part, they went good. Obviously, it was shortened due to COVID, but we followed all the guidelines the school had us follow, and things went smoothly.
So no issues, everything went smoothly, and was it pretty much
everything went smooth.
After adjusting to those health and safety measures, was it pretty much the same, or was it a little bit different than years past? It was smaller groups, different sets of people. How did it work?
Yeah, so usually we'll have 4 groups, and then like every Wednesday or so we'll have a team challenge. But this year we wanted to keep everyone socially distanced, so we split into 3 groups, and then we kind of just did on-field work instead of keeping everyone together, and then making sure we clean all the lifting equipment, stuff like that.
All right, excellent. All right, so let's go here, Kaleb. Let's talk to you about the quarterback position. Last year, you were in an open competition, and you came away with the starting job. What's it been like this off season and all summer, knowing that you were the guy to lead the team?
Coming to this year, I knew there was a lot more expectations due to me returning. So over the off season, I studied the playbook, and I started creating connection with the new guys.
And do you have a much higher comfort level this year entering the second year as a starter?
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember last year going to CD, I was really nervous. But this year, Palm, he could throw any play at me, and I'll know what to do. And I could tell the guys where to go and where to align.
Excellent. Let's switch gears and let's talk about the guys in front of you here. So we have 2 of them with us, in Chase Walters and Matt Schrufer. Guys, you have some huge shoes to fill with the 5 starters gone from 2019 all to graduation. Besides the 2 of you, who's going to step up and start, and who are some of the guys challenging for the other 3 offensive line positions?
I think Trent Moss is planning on playing center, and Ethan Ashcroft at left guard, and I think the right guard is Kyle Hassler.
Okay. And what positions are you guys, just refresh everyone's memory? What are the 2 spots, Chase and Matthew, that you're going to be playing on offense?
I'm at left tackle, and Matt would be a right tackle.
Yep.
Okay. And who are a few other guys that could see time in the rotation or are challenging for a starting spot?
Zane Stevenson, he's a senior. He'd be going for right guard. And I believe Jack Dendel.
Yeah, I was going to say Jack.
Okay. So lots of moving parts, 5 spots defined. Do you think that those 5 have been solidified, or is it still open competition as you get ready to open camp?
I think coming into this week, especially like first week with pads on, it's going to maybe change this week, and it's definitely still open.
All right. So guys, we ask this question every year. It's one of mine and Justin's favorite. We talk about the strong tradition of one-year starters at Wilson, guys that step up as seniors just when they're ready to get into action their senior year. They are really ready to go, and they kind of come out of nowhere. Who could that be in 2020? Who's a to-be senior this season that you think is going to have a great year?
Darren Airmold. He's a wide receiver. He's been working really hard, especially in the off season, improving his footwork and stuff like that. So I think he can put it up big this year.
Anyone else jump out to you guys? Part of your senior class that maybe not too many people know about, but could make some waves this year?
Corey Powers, Michael, and Andon.
Yeah.
Okay, and then these guys are coming back
Corey,
out this year as seniors?
Yeah, Corey's going for tight end, and then Michael and Andon, they're both going for slot receiver.
Also, kick return, punt return.
Yeah.
All right, great. How many of you guys want to play football at the next level in college? Do you guys hope to play there? I know a few of you, I think, would like to, but how about each of you give us an answer? Let's go in order that we did the intro. So, Jabari, tell us about your plans after high school. Does college football play a role, or let us know what you're going to be studying?
College football right now is not really it's not a priority to me. I'm looking just to go to college just for education and just to get my studies in. And I'm not sure what I want to go to college for, but I have an internship for physical therapy, so that could be something I'd like to do.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. All right, Matt, how about you?
I was actually planning on doing a skilled trade and going to trade school.
Oh, cool.
And I wasn't really planning on doing any sports in college either.
And what skilled trade are you going to focus on?
I think carpentry. I really like doing that.
Awesome. Chase, how about you?
So, football is obviously a big part of my decision, but I do plan to go to college for kinesiology, just to become a PE teacher, and we'll decide about football when I decide what college I'm going to.
All right, Adrian, how about you?
I'm still undecided on what I want to do for college, but I want to go to college for football. I still want to play in the next level.
Awesome. Okay. And Jack, how's recruiting going with you? Is that something you definitely want to pursue?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to play football in college. I'm lucky enough to, because I want to do computer science, so most schools have that, so it's not too much of a worry, but it's definitely top priority for me.
And how has the recruiting process been so far? I know you've been going to camps and getting your name out there. Do you have any offers? Are there any leading offers that you have right now?
Right now, I have one from your Sinus College, and I've talked to a few other coaches. But right now, everything's pretty slow with COVID, and that keeps getting pushed back further and further. So this season and beyond is going to be pretty hectic with that, I think.
And is it most likely your decision going to come down to the place kicking, or are you focused on punting this year as well?
During the off season, I'm sure you saw on my Twitter and stuff, I worked really hard on my punting, but I'm mainly a place kicker that can punt if needed for my school. That's what I'm going for.
All right, and Kaleb, how about you? Is there football in your future in college, and where would you like to go, and what would you like to study?
Football's been a huge part of my life, so I would like to play another 4 years. And currently, I'm undecided on what major I would like.
And has there been much of recruiting going on right now? I know the coronavirus has made things really difficult, but have you been in contact with any coaches?
Yeah, Corona. I was this summer camps were going to be huge for me, but obviously those got canceled. So I controlled what I could control. I would work out every day. I put on 15 pounds of muscle. Actually, no, 20 pounds of muscle. I went from 165 to 185. And then I've been talking to a few FCS coaches and Division II coaches.
Excellent. And now, have they talked to you about using you at quarterback, or are they focusing more on your defensive back role?
More of my athletic ability.
Okay, so just going in as an athlete and going wherever they need you.
Yeah, I could play anywhere a coach would need me, whether it's quarterback, defensive back, even wide receiver.
All right, excellent. And Kaleb, you gave me a good segue into my next question for all six of you. We'll start right there with you, Kaleb, and work backwards this time. What aspect of your game have you most improved since the end of last season? Kaleb, you mentioned about getting stronger, but is there something on the football field that you think you're much better at this year?
I would say my arm got very strong.
Arm strength? Okay.
Last year, I was throwing maybe 50 yards, 55 at max, but now I'm throwing 60 yards, 65.
Excellent. And Jack, how about you?
Probably improving my range of my field goals and my kickoffs. So I was probably at a comfortable range, capping out around 50 for field goals and probably about 55 now. And then for kickoffs, just increasing my touchback percentage.
All right, Adrian, what about you? What have you improved most in the off season?
This summer, I worked a lot on my speed and my footwork.
All right, getting faster and more agile. And
Yeah.
Chase, how about you?
I've been working on my footwork and just trying to stay low on the line because I know I got a big spot to fill with Nate Keller now gone. So.
All right, Schrufer?
I've really worked on like the mental aspect, and I've went over the playbook a lot and know a lot more of the plays this year than I did last year. So I'm not lost when I'm on the field.
All right, Jabari?
I think my footwork improved the most. I'm working on bursting off the ball, putting a little rocker step in, breaking down my hips. Just making D-back guess, like where I'm going. So yeah, my footwork, I think I improved on that.
Great, yes. All right, Matt and Chase, one more for you guys at offensive line. You guys had been working with Coach Lorchek for the last 2 years. Now he has moved on to be the head coach at Muhlenberg. So little Coach Dom's LCD is now your primary coach, but we also got Chase Godfrey there to help out. How's been the transition from Coach Lorchek to LCD and Coach Godfrey gone?
It's been really good. LCD has helped us a lot and like walked us through a lot of stuff since like COVID. We missed a lot, and I mean both him and Godfrey have picked up a lot of the same stuff that Lorchek did, but also like improved it. And, yeah.
All right, so you're comfortable with Coach Doms and Coach Godfrey being you two point guys this year?
Yep.
All right. All right, let's look at a little bit individual. So we talked about things that you've improved so far, but let's look at the season as a whole. Is there one personal statistic out there that you would like to meet this season? Would you, whether it be touchdowns, tackles, whatever you can think of, is there something individually personalized that you would like to see in the stat or record book? Jabari, let's start with you.
I think I would most like to get my receptions. At least three catches a game.
Okay. Schrufer?
I would like to just execute the plays a lot better and get my blocks down so then the running backs can get through.
Yeah, we don't get to see the offensive line grades, but I know they do that for you. So that'll have to be an internal check mark that you'll have to track week to week, you and Chase. Although, do either of you have anything defensively that you would like to focus on if you get to play on defense this year?
My tackles.
Tackles? Do you have a number in your head?
Plus over 70.
Over 70, excellent, Adrian. That would be quite the mark to get to. That would be a great mark for your senior season. Jack, what about you?
I'm thinking 90% touchback percentage and a field goal over 50.
Okay. And Kaleb, what about you? Is there one that sticks out to you, offensive or defensively?
At the end of last season, it's gonna be harder now that there's less amount of games, but 1,000 passing, 1,000 rushing.
Okay, in that 1,000 club. Yep, that is a great mark every year, and I know Jeff Reinert from the Lancaster newspaper, he always chronicles the quarterbacks that are able to get there. How about you guys tell me, and anyone can jump in on this, who are your leaders on the team? Who are the guys that get everyone together, make sure they're on the same page, or the ones that can come up to you and just say, hey, let's get focused and get ready to play? Who are your team leaders for 2020?
Troy.
Yeah.
Corson, yeah.
Troy Corson.
Capitano.
I was going to say Cappy, yeah.
Capitano. Anyone else showing leadership this offseason?
Kaleb.
Yeah, Caleb's been showing leadership.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Well, those are three big names that were big contributors last year, so it's good to have those guys stepping up as we enter 2020.
Oh, yeah, and Mason Leonard, too.
Oh, Mason? Excellent. All right, all those guys, hopefully we can track them down during the year because they're definitely guys that we would like to talk to on the show as well. So, Coach Raffauf, you got anything to ask?
I would just say, so with the crazy like spring and summer, I'm sure more responsibility was kind of put on you guys as individuals. So I know some of you touched on this a little bit, but like, how did you take that kind of personal accountability when there wasn't as much team accountability maybe through the spring? And then I know in the summer it picked up a little bit in July, but like, what did you do through the spring and then early summer to kind of either stay in shape or get stronger or whatever it was you were doing?
I don't know
Hit the
about
field
the
a lot.
guys. Let's go ahead, Adrian.
We just hit the field a lot as a team. We ran.
Did some footwork.
Yeah.
Did one-on-ones. Stayed in shape.
You guys.
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys were posting to Twitter your individual workouts, things that you were taking upon yourself to get the work in. So it was nice to see all of you having that accountability, even without the coaching staff able to do it right there with you. It was really, really great to see you guys working, whether it was with a professional trainer or just getting a few of your guys there on the field to throw and catch, work on your footwork, get your kicks in. I know all of you were very active in that regard.
Yeah, Justin Weller, he actually helped. He helped me work on my arm over the off season, but he also helped out the receivers work on their footwork and their hands too. He was a big help.
All right, so let's talk about them a little bit here. So we got the quarterback here, and we got a wide receiver and a tight end here. Who are the other offensive weapons we're going to see on the field this season? You talked about Mason being a leader. We got him in the backfield. Troy out at wide receiver. Who are the couple of the other names that are going to be on offense this season?
Jaden Jones in the backfield too.
And who's going to be with Jabari and Troy at wide receiver?
There's actually a few kids. There's Mike Kell, there's Spencer Tenga, there's Andon, TJ Flight, Josh Drake, Evan Williams.
Yeah.
Gannon Brubaker has also been working on receiver.
Yeah.
Okay. Now is Gannon still getting time at quarterback as well?
Yeah. Him and Cam, they actually both been getting work at receiver. So they switch every other day where they're at.
All right, excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule. We know it's kind of been truncated. You're not going to get the full 10 games in. However, we were able to get you to hook up with Mifflin, which is always a highlight. But you tell me, what's your most anticipated regular season game? And if it is going to be Mifflin, which other game intrigues you the most?
Definitely Township.
Township.
We didn't have a great game to begin with, and we could have played a lot better. And plus, it's good to have a rematch. There were only regular season loss last year, so close that one out.
So Mifflin and Town, first two games, Mifflin Township. Those are the big ones, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we talked a little bit about maybe the 2B seniors, you guys in the seniors this fall, of who's going to step up, who's going to make a name for themselves. Who are some of the underclassmen that you think will be a huge part of the team this year that the fans and community should know about?
Jaden Jones played last year, but he's definitely a huge part of our defense, and he does a lot in offense as well. So,
John Ramsey, I think he's going to be good this year.
All right, Jones and Ramsey. Anyone else?
I think
James
Jack Dendel.
Dendel.
He's a big kid, and he's looking to fill a spot on the line that we need.
All right, Caleb, did you have one?
I would also say Jaden's younger brother, Cameron Jones. He's been getting cornerback reps.
Cornerback
with the first
reps.
team.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So a nice young crop of talent to go with our group of seniors.
Yeah.
All right. How disappointing will it be if you have to play your games without spectators? Is that something that really, I mean, obviously you want to have your friends and family there, but if it comes down to spectators can't be there, is it going to be a huge disappointment? Do you think it will impact you? What is your take on that?
It'll definitely be different, that's for sure.
Yeah, the crowd
I mean,
already gets everybody into it.
No spectators.
I was watching the high school football games this past weekend. They had fans. They seemed to make it work.
No spectators would almost be just another year of our freshman season. Hardly anybody showed up to those games, but yeah, definitely the crowd builds the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah. The crowd's always nice, but for positions like myself, it might make my job just a touch easier. But but yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, if there's no fans, I'll miss the tradition of walking in front of the bleachers, giving everybody high fives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always cool.
All right, so you guys are all 2, 3, even more years into making Wilson football memories. What has been your best or the most memorable to date when it comes to Wilson football? What do you cherish, or what do you remember so far entering your senior year?
For me, no, go ahead, Jabari.
No, you got it, Jack.
Well, for me, probably sophomore year against Central Dauphin. We didn't really play that great, but first game I ever had on the varsity spot. Once the nerves are gone and everything, you can just enjoy the atmosphere. It's just a really great experience.
Okay, so Central Dauphin 2018.
I would say last year's Mifflin game.
Yeah, that was exciting. I believe it was actually exactly a year ago today. So
yeah, it was a year ago today.
Yeah, anytime you can go up 61-0, you're having a pretty good night.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Jabari, what about you?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
What's your favorite Wilson football memory so far?
To be honest, I just think it's like the camps at LVC and the summer workouts. It's just that being together, like the downtime, like after you're done working hard, and just that downtime with like your like brothers. That's just the best feeling.
Yeah, we get that usually every year. There's a couple people that say those LVC camps, those team activities are the most memorable parts, and it's a shame that you guys didn't get to do that this year.
Yeah.
Adrian, what about you?
I would say the same thing Jabari said, like camp, like summer workouts, and being with our teammates.
Yeah.
All right, Chase.
Definitely the family feeling. It's more like it's not just a team; it's more of a family. And
brotherhood.
when you're working hard,
For sure.
at the end of the week, you get a victory. It just feels great to know that you did it with your brothers.
Together.
So
Yeah.
Awesome. And
whether you played or not.
Schrufer.
I have to agree with Kaleb. All the build up to that game, and then just how it turned out. It was very, very fun.
Yeah, that game is definitely memorable, and I think they're gonna remember it too entering this year. So
I'm sure.
Yeah.
they're gonna be ready to roll on September 18th, especially coming to your house after what you did to them last year at their house. They're not gonna forget that anytime soon. I'm sure you've been talking to a lot of those guys on that team, and they make you aware of it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, just a couple of questions left here for you. What's it like to play for Coach Doms? Tell everyone what it's like to play for him.
I think we all learned he happens to control the weather at practice.
Yeah. Stuff, man.
There will be the darkest gray skies you see, yet no rain.
Yeah, actually, our sophomore year, he looked at a storm cloud that was coming our way. It just kind of made a breaststroke into the cloud, and it just split and went right around Bulldog.
That's funny because the seniors I interviewed last year said the exact same thing about how he can control the weather. So I don't know. I mean, he is very scientifically minded. So he's operating on another level with the atmosphere.
It's all that experience.
Yeah, it is. All right, how about things you guys might do, in the week leading up to game or even before a game, such as superstitions or routines? Do you guys buy into that? Do you do anything specific?
Yeah.
The senior starter dinner on the Thursday before the game, usually.
Right.
do that. I don't know if we're doing that this year, but yeah.
I remember last year after every Thursday practice, there'd be a specific order of the people who touched the bulldog, and then I remember Adrian would always be first, and then he would always have to be the first one to go into the locker room.
So is that going to continue this year? Are you allowed to touch the bulldog this year?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure about that.
We'll have to wipe it down in between everyone. Is there
It was actually
anything?
funny the way it worked. It was almost true because the
Yeah.
township game, that's when it was out of order and we lost.
Yeah, it's actually true.
Oh, well, let's make sure we have an established line this year. Everyone follows the proper order. Anything specific, music, shirts, anything like that? Anyone buy into that, or is it mostly more of a team aspect that your superstitions revolve around?
Yeah.
It's more of a team aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you all grew up in the Wilson area, but did you have a favorite high school football player while you were growing up? When you were running around in Little League playing for mites, midgets, those leagues. Was there a high school player at the time that you looked up to and just wanted to emulate when you got to the high school level?
Probably Nick Borelli for me.
Okay.
As a kicker, I mean, you're kind of limited to your options, but Nick, especially when I practiced with him a couple of times, he was always so gracious with me, always so nice. I mean, he always did his job on the field, and the very few times he didn't, you could see the emotion on his face. He never once put it off. He was always just a really great guy.
He also had some huge kicks against Mifflin.
Yeah, that he did. Anyone else? Anyone have a specific high school player that you remember watching?
For me, definitely in elementary school and early middle school, whoever was carrying the ball, I just wanted to score a touchdown. But in 7th and 8th grade, it ended up being just the entire team in general. I just wanted to be on the team.
Yeah.
All right. And how about at the next levels? Do you guys have a big fandom for the NFL or college teams? Like who do you watch on Saturdays and Sundays when they're playing?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. All right.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey by far.
Kelsey. Okay.
Eagles.
Julio Jones.
Packers,
Boswell. Packers. Anyone in college right now that you really like to watch?
Alabama.
Bandwagon.
I like to watch Arizona State.
Arizona State, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Penn State. I like to watch Penn State a lot.
Well, that's the right answer. Thank you, Matthew. Justin, you got anything else you want to ask these guys?
I'm good. You got it.
All right. Well, then the last question for the six of you before we go is, it's a unique setting here in 2020. Thankfully, you've gotten the green light to start practicing tomorrow, and hopefully we can get these games played and maybe even a playoff run. But what is your message to the fans in the Wilson community as you seniors get ready to take the field at Gursky for the last time this year?
Number one, thank you for the support, especially when the school board was meeting to determine if we were going to play or not. All their support, the videos and everything everyone made, that really helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a hill if you guys want to make some noise. You can watch the game from there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that will be a unique place to maybe congregate on Friday nights during football games, maybe not. I don't know. I don't condone or organize anything in that way, so I'm not going to be involved in that. But we'll make sure that we get your games out there to the public, whether Wilson live streams it, whether I do something, but I'll make sure we get pictures and highlights and make sure everyone knows how you guys are faring on Fridays this fall. So I think that's pretty
Sounds
much
good.
it from us. So definitely want to thank the 6 of you for joining us, and I look forward to talking to each of you and a bunch of other Wilson football players following Bulldog victories Friday night in just a few weeks.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, guys. You have a good evening and good luck this week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go Dogs.
Thank you.
All right, so that was our interviews with the senior football players, 6 of them there with us. I appreciate them taking the time. I know the quality of the audio and video feed wasn't always the best, but we got to do with what we can here in 2020 as everyone nature continues to throw wrenches at us.
I was going to say, and also just like, kind of not going to be picky about what we get, like in terms of, number of games, the number of games isn't, the same. It's going to be fewer, all that stuff. That's all right. If we get games, we'll take it, right? Like it's kind of one of those things where I'll take what we can get at this point.
Right.
So,
And that's really all that matters.
Right. If these online, the virtual interviews here, if that's what we can get, we'll take it. It just kind of goes with the theme right now, right?
Just go with the flow. Just take what we'll get. Heat acclimatization starts tomorrow. The season is finally here, 3 weeks late. We're probably only going to get, we're guaranteed at least 7 games. Well, guaranteed in air quotes.
Yes.
We're hopeful
We're
to get
scheduled. We're scheduled for 7
games.
games.
This is one of those things, like, you can actually play up to 9, but if you're playing up to 9, you're either doing really well in the playoffs or you didn't do well enough to make the playoffs, because you can add 2 more games at the end of the season. I know Wilson never wants to talk about that. Fans don't want to talk about that. But if Wilson's not one of the top 4 teams in District 3 6A, there is the opportunity to add a game the weekend of, I think that would be like November 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's like the 6th and the 13th. So, should they not make the playoffs, they play Manheim Central, they get their 7 games in. There's a chance, if the scheduling works out, they can find the teams and all the health and safety is all worked out and everything's okay. They could get 2 more games. But hey, you could also get 2 more games if you make the district championship and then move into whatever would come after that, if anything comes after that.
Right. But you know what? And the guys kind of talked about this early on, especially with some of the questions. Like they're doing what they can do. Right? You can't worry about the other stuff that's out of their control. It's out of lots of people's control, or honestly, you could probably say anyone's control. But they're just doing what they can do and hoping for the best. Prepare and hope for the best. That's all you can do.
Yeah, for sure. So, but it was good. I was glad the 6 of them could join us.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. And one of the things I took away was, like, every year the guys, they give us the, it's a team game, all that stuff, but like they really seemed like they were really into that team aspect of things, and that's always good because it's going to be a group effort. We do return some key guys.
Yep.
But at the same time, we have to replace some key guys that we lost to graduation and things like that. So it's not going to be just one guy stepping up and completely making up for all of that. It's going to be a group effort to kind of get that done. So, it sounds like they're working hard, and hopefully they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure, knowing the coaching staff and the work they've done over the last, 40 years, they'll be ready, and they'll have guys in the spots. And if something isn't working out in the season, the actual games get here, they'll make adjustments. But it should be another strong season in West Lawn. The team looks great on paper, and that usually translates to success on the field. And what a unique situation Wilson football and all high school football in 2020 will be. I know the spectator thing is the new focus. We wanted to make sure that they could play. That was done quite well. PIAA decided to move ahead. Wilson eventually decided to move ahead. And thank you to everyone that helped out with the pictures and videos for the video plea that was sent out, and for the community members that did contact the board members and I'm sure the administration too. And I do think it's important to acknowledge the administration stepping up and saying we believe in the health and safety protocols that have been established for both the return to learn and the return to play. That's backed by a variety of medical professionals, including our head athletic trainer, Kiernan. And, our old head athletic trainer, Doc Morrow, is on the PIAA's Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. And there was an article in the paper today that quotes Doc about high school sports going ahead during this global pandemic. But I think the board heard everyone and they said, okay, we're going to give this a go. So don't disappoint them or anyone else. Continue to follow the health and safety protocols.
Right. Like, and that's, we've talked about this a bunch. We've talked about it on here and everything. Like, decisions to give opportunities are great, but you can't just throw it all away. You need to make the most of those opportunities, and that includes doing all the little things here and there, whether it's wearing the masks or keeping your distances and all of those things. You got to keep doing the things that got us to this point in order to be able to keep having success with those policies.
Right. So everyone continue wearing masks, practice social distancing when you can. Use hand sanitizer. If you're sick, stay home. Like, just let's make sure that the students can stay in school, and then our student athletes can perform on the field or wherever it may be, and everyone participating in the extracurriculars gets to have some sort of normal,
right?
Because it's very important for them.
Yep.
And it's the spectator thing is tough.
It is tough, and we've had this discussion too, because it's tough for me because my kids aren't old enough to be playing. Like I kind of feel odd not discussing it. Like, I can talk anything sports, as we that's literally what we're doing here. But I feel like at an odd spot because it's not my child playing. Right. Like, and I can't speak for someone who it is, and we see all those things every year. So that it's tough. It is tough. I think it was huge that we're able to move forward with them playing right now, because that's the bigger factor.
That was the golden goose. That's what we needed. Right. We got it. Let's keep that going. Let's get to the games, because they don't all. I mean, other than golf, cross country, and tennis, no other major team events happen until September 18th, which is football, and then right after that. You will have everything else. We'll start mid-end of September. So there's still 3 weeks here that we got to be good to go. And hopefully spectator stuff will change. Right now, there are no spectators. You cannot be there. And I'll repeat this, and I've said it many times. This has nothing to do with Wilson. This is not an athletic department or an administration or a school board thing. This comes from the governor's office. And I know it was adopted by the BCIAA. They just announced that. I know during the school board meeting last week, they talked about wanting to address the spectator issue on the extracurricular committee and then the school board. Those conversations would be happening September 8th and September 14th. I would expect to know more from a Wilson perspective on spectators and then the live streams that they're working on.
I'll also be interested to see if the LL League takes a formal stance on it in the effort to whatever they decide. Again, that's not a Wilson decision. But whatever it is they decide, to kind of make it sure it's kind of the same across the board. I don't know that they'll do that. That's something that I wonder if they would do that.
I guess I was a little surprised that the BCIAA came out and said they would be sticking to the guidance that says 250 max at outside events, 25 at inside, and that includes the people participating in the event.
Right.
That's not spectators. That's literally teams, coaches, managers, trainers, officials.
One of the interesting things is I guess maybe that decision does need to be made earlier. Like, I'm like, why do you need to make that decision now? But I guess schools need to plan accordingly. So maybe that's why they had to kind of make that decision now instead of closer to the time when that would come into play. But again, I'm not in those spots. I don't have to make those decisions. So easy for me to say, hey, wait.
I guess it would be interesting from a Wilson football perspective if the LL League doesn't make a mandate and leaves it up to schools,
right,
which would allow schools to maybe designate multiple zones within a facility, which was the discussion, very preliminary, nothing final, about Gursky Stadium being, home is allowed 250, home side's allowed 250, away side's allowed 250, or something like that, as a means to get around, which would allow you to have two teams filled with players, coaches, trainers, managers, game officials, home school administration that needs to be there to operate the facility, media members, and you may still have maybe 200 to 250 spaces left if both sides of the field of the complex can be used legally. And then you probably can give out 2 tickets per player or something like that. Again, that doesn't solve the problem for, lifelong fans and community members, but remember, the hierarchy goes the students getting to play, then the parents of those students, then everyone else. That's how it works.
Right.
And that's how it should work, and I think that's how it will work if we even get there.
Right. Yeah, it sounds terrible, and I don't mean to minimize it, but that deciding who gets to go to a game is a good problem because that implies that there is a game.
Right.
And again, it's a little easier for me to say because it's not my child playing. I understand that, and I feel terrible for the whole situation, but if it means we get games, that's if that's the option we're with, then that's what we have to take. Just kind of like we said with everything else. Like it's not the ideal situation, but we'll take what we can get at this point.
Right. It's better than what we were left with at the end of winter and spring, where we didn't get to finish the swimming and diving championships. You didn't get to finish the basketball championship.
Right. There were kids at swimming championships literally who they're like, oh, no, we're actually cutting this session short and your race is now canceled.
Right.
For a state championship. Like, not that any one is worse, but like, you're in the pool warming up and then next thing you know, nope, it's just not happening. Okay.
Yeah, it's not great. But I think we've said all we can about the spectators and the school board and everything. So, anything else to add for this episode before the season gets underway with heat acclimatization and the first week of practice?
No, just to emphasize again, we've had success with the safety protocols that have been put in place. Keep making good decisions, and that will help keep those safety protocols successful, and therefore increase likelihood of more positive outcomes, right? Like, I was talking to first week of school last week, talking to kids about like effort and habits. And if you make a lot of effort, if you put in a lot of effort and you make sure you're performing good habits, good things will happen. And that applies in so many places, not just obviously in a science classroom.
Right. All right. So then before we close out, I want to give one last opportunity to Small Player, Big Play to let you all know what they're about.
Using Small Player, Big Play app, the all-sports social media app for young athletes. Live stream events for your friends and family who can't be there. At home or at work, they can watch your streaming on their phones or on TV by using a mirroring device or AirPlay 2. Download the app from the App Store or Google Play and create an account using a valid email address. That's it. Now you can find friends, join groups, or make new ones. You can upload and watch your own content for free. Watch YouTube uploads for free. Even more streaming options are available with our subscription plans and in-app purchases. Download the app and start sharing with the world your passion for sports today.
All right. So once again, we thank May's Sandwich Shop and Small Player Big Play for sponsoring the show. Please visit them at Small Player Big Play on the Apple or Google app stores. All right, so we will be back in 2 weeks' time on Sunday, September 13th. And during that show, again, we hope to have some interviews with assistant coaches and some maybe video highlights or at least a verbal recap of the scrimmage against Cocalico. Anything to say, Justin, before we get going?
No, just another thanks to the guys for joining us. I know
Yes.
Sunday nights can be busy, but I appreciate them taking the time to join us.
Yeah, this is the only Sunday night they'll be able to do that. From here on out, they'll
Yes.
probably be watching film.
Yeah, hopefully Sunday nights are busy for a while. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, I think that wraps up episode 5 of the Bulldog Hour 6th season. We'll be back for episode 6 in 2 weeks. Until next time, just remember, go Bulldogs.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Bulldog Hour. Want more Wilson football? Follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. Or visit www.bulldoghour.com. The Bulldog Hour is a featured program on jmnjrradio.com.